This is the new project I have. I finally bought these parts, and I've got 4 days off. I do have some distractions, but I think I can get far with this project. Have something real physical in hand. The main purpose of this project is really to try these displays out. The circular form factor or round, and how bright is it outside. So right now the OLED I use, like for the first Pi cam I made, was it's like you can barely see it outside when it's really bright. So, and I also wanted a 5-point D-pad. I think that's what this is called, 5-point joystick. So you can go up, down, left, right, and then click it in. Then there's a shutter. I am missing a back, but the menu will just be using this only. There'll always be a back button somewhere. Yeah, and then there are also 2 of these displays. I bought a non-transparent or not transparent touchscreen and touchscreen. So I don't have it drawn here, but actually I could make one up real quick. I've been thinking about this. I don't know what a monkey looks like. Vaguely, maybe. But they're called like animal cameras. They're made for like kids, so they're very basic cameras. But they have their shape of the body is like an animal. It'd be like elephant, monkey, or whatever. And then it's a touchscreen one, so there are no. The only main button is a shutter. I don't know, maybe it's like right on top of his head or something, or on the right. I don't know. But yeah, that's another one, and that's like a really simple camera, where it's like a 5-megapixel cheapy. This one is using an 8-megapixel, but it's not hardcore like a swappable lens. So I got the parts, like there's the 5D D-pad. I'll have to figure out how to use that. This is one of the displays. I don't know which one is touch. I think this one is touch, because it comes with its own ESP board. Then I bought orange PLA. I have black right now. Almost out on the white. I was thinking I would have like I don't know, it's hard. It was either like black is sandwich or orange is sandwich, but it was like orange and black. That's the paint scheme. And then these are the shutter buttons. I don't know, I've seen another project using these, so it's like, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if, I just saw it on Amazon, like, I'll try it. And then this is the 8-megapixel camera. It's like this thing, it's not gonna be crazy, but quality, but I mostly just want to mess around with this circular form factor. It's like a simple camera to make. And then I was thinking about the battery. Like I would like a latch. Like usually there's like a hinge and it swings out, but I just want like 2 bendy pieces, and you like jam it in and it closes. Same way that open. Actually, no, I wanted a simpler one than that. I'll just use like cutout channels, and you pop it in and slide it to the right, and it's closed. And the battery will be detachable. I use like the single cell, so that'll really reduce the form factor of this thing down. And you can see like there's nothing here. I just started this repo today, February 18th. So yeah, I'll work on this. I think most of the parts will arrive tomorrow, and then the rest will come the next day. Alright, so here are the parts. Just got them from the mail. The D-pad thing literally just comes in this. There's no like instructions, so that'll be interesting. I mean, maybe it's very simple, like it's just contacts, It's like this pin goes live, that button was pushed. I think that is how it works. Up, down, left, yeah. Calm, reset, set. I don't know what those buttons are for, but common is ground. What about power? Clicks in. Oh man, this button, it feels nasty. It's not like an easy click. Hopefully it doesn't confuse the directions. Maybe with the button it feels better. There's that. Let's take a look at the round displays. Oh, here comes the cat. Wait. Here, grab that. Pull it out. As if. Alright. Oh man. So there it is. Got it. Wow, that's a lot of wires. Holy cow. That must be the touch one, if it's that complicated. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 wires, man, damn. That's how big it is though, very small. But it's round. Alright, let's look at the other one. 1.28 inch LCD IPS display. I mean, I know there are bigger ones, but like 4 inch is pretty damn massive. Like, I don't know how I would put that on a camera. I mean, could, but like, look at the A7 II display. Man, I screwed this thing up. I shorted it when I was putting it back together. Camera still works, but yeah. Let's see. Pull it out. This one looks like 2, 4, 6, 8 pins. Yeah, so this one's the non-touch. Good to get dimensions off that. I'll have to get it powered up and see. I won't touch the... I don't know if they're the same display. It says LCD. This one is LCD IPS. Unfortunately, the camera did not ship with these, so I'm gonna have to get that tomorrow. Here's the ML hack, and I was screwing around with trying to get that to focus one day. There's our orange filament. And then I decided I'll do orange, black, orange. Like, it'll be sandwiched like that. Which sucks because it takes longer to like test print. Wait, no. Look at him. He's an animal. An animal! He's got fat cheeks too. Wait! Hi! Choo, choo, choo. So yeah, I'm not feeling the motivation, but I will complete this 4-day break. This is so cool. I just plugged it in, the touch one. It says 32.6 kilobyte use like storage. Has a photo. 33 frames per second, 14% CPU. What the hell? Can I do anything? Oh, what the hell? Look at that. That's legit. That's legit. 30 bucks. What is this stuff that is rendering? That's cool. I was like, is it a website? But I don't know what it is. I got charts. Elena Smith. Dude, there's a freaking keyboard. Oh my god. I wish I could read this. Wait. What do I do? Zoom? Oh my god, yeah, that's better. G. Oh my god. That's crazy, dude. And I do want to say it's hard to describe this like I'm filming it and you know I can't really tell how good it looks. I'm looking at it like it's pretty good. Like I don't know if it's aliasing or something. You gotta really look close at it to see like jagged edges. It's not like crisp, but it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean I wouldn't even say it's blocky at all. Let me see, maybe like that. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really impressed. Amazing. And the colors are decent. I'll have to take it outside to see how it looks in the sun. So I'm looking at the, this is another project of mine. It's like a navigation head. This is the 8 megapixel camera. I'm already sad that this thing is not that good, like the resolution and quality. I mean, look at that tiny, which phones, you know, disprove that phones can shoot pretty amazing photos and have a tiny camera. But anyway, it also takes away from the aesthetics of it. It's one thing if it's like a animal cam or something, like, you know, the camera's just part of the idea. But for this one, it's like a actual camera, but still, I'm mostly experimenting with the round display, menu interface, and the 5-direction D-pad. But yeah, I'm just trying to imagine yourself in the Cretaceous period. Like, this is the design, right? This is VS Code. Oh, no. 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 Oh, good. Windows! Yeah, so I haven't thought of the front, but it's like, there's just a hole, you know? Like, what is on the front side? I don't know. I have a model of the dimensions of this, but it'll help to have it in person too. So, let me see. I'm looking at the two things. I don't know. I really do like the. Yeah, let's see. This like layered design where it's like that. I like that. Probably around the edges. What sucks with SketchUp is it's not easy to design like organic stuff, you know, rounded things. Because it's based on like extruding planes. You can do like a sphere by rotating a hemisphere. No, half a circle, half a round thing around an axis. You know, like this. You rotate it around and it forms the full sphere. This is dumb. Like, you know, learn a real modeling program. But you need time to do that. Anyway, so this is a bit far. Like, I still have to. If I'm looking at the part, let's see. Direction doesn't matter. It'll take less space if it's like this. And the buttons are here and the pins are down here. It's got these mounting holes, which is interesting. I don't have screws that big. I can offset them though and then it'll pull them down. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be this close to the edge. The original design is like that more. And then, of course, we have the round display, which is like that. And initially I was thinking about the door thing, but I don't really want to mess around with it. I just want to print like the 3 parts and screw them together like that. It's a sandwich, like middle layers is black. Let's see, I don't know. It's like this. can get an orange color. Yeah, so these are orange. And then let's try and color this and see what it looks like. It doesn't really matter, because, you know, it's probably like a plain color. But this whole thing will be orange, so it's like, what? I don't know, that just looks bad. Alright, great. But, yeah, and now we need one of these shutter ribbons. I haven't opened this package yet. Oh man. What's funny is I work at Amazon now, like the warehouse. I could have been a person that put this in a pod. These robot shells that move around. Of course, nowadays I just do water spider. Manual labor and time flies faster. So, so that's threaded. Interesting. I don't want to reverse engineer the thread. Let's stick that in and glue it. Yeah, so just have a hole, and then the switch. Let's see, the switch is like that. The layer thing here, plastic, and then pins. So I'll just put that, yeah, like up here. Interesting, it has a little give to it. That does feel good, the springiness. Ooh, little goodie bag. But yeah, so back to the original topic at hand. We've got, I don't know, it just sucks. There's like a hole, that's it. What is that? Boop. What can I do at the front that makes it look cool? I could mirror the design. Looks like a boob. I don't know, I could fake it. Oh my god. What is that? Yeah, we could, I don't know. Kind of like that, maybe? You know, mirroring this. And then, I don't know. That would be recessed so the camera is protected from shadows. Just be round. Probably make these more round. And the button is here. Man, I don't know. Sure. Will it feel good to hold it though? Oh wait, maybe I can do it like this. It's like a rounded thing. It's raised. Why is it raised? That's more plastic. I don't know, man. You could have had like a tab or something here, I don't know, to make it accentuated. But that's like another thing to make and print. Also, you could have a cutout somewhere, probably up here, for a lanyard. I think what I'll just do is, this will be like recessed as well. And I'll just add to it. I don't know. It's not like for your finger, it's just a design element. And maybe instead of, I could do like a rounded thing, and then this is the center part. Looking at it from the side doesn't make sense unless you add the top like that. And then the back is the same thing over here, but it's rounded. Now your fingers will just, you know, be like that. Thumb down here. Hold it like that. The other hand is over here somewhere. This is your main finger, pointer finger, thumb. We need a switch. Damn. And a port for the charger. If you can't take it apart, then the battery's in there. Let's see. The Pi is in here somewhere. There's like a battery using 720 milliamp hours, single cell. Oh my god! Then you have to boost it up. That's another piece. And then you need the charger port could be over here. Actually, it could be in the middle because the board will be. Last time, like this board gets super hot, like 501 amp. So it melts hot glue. Like I have to use something else to attach it, like a plastic shim kind of thing to slide it in. So yeah, maybe the middle layer will hold stuff, like you screw them down. However, the Pi will be in there too. That way when you separate the halves, or triple halves, I don't know, what do you call that? You'll just have like wires joining things, but most of the stuff will be in the middle. Okay. I could work with that. I just want to get this thing done in 4 days. Today's the first day. So while I was realizing like I couldn't afford to buy the camera module 3 right now because I'm poor and poorly manage my finances. Minance? What the heck? That's a portmanteau. I realize this thing can be modular. What do I mean? Well, do you remember this sandwich? Well, if I design, oh crap, if I design the middle piece to have like mounting brackets, like this thing is like that, this is the D-pad, those are the mounting points. So on this body, you know, there'd be like a thing holding like mounting holes, mounting brackets. More somewhere, I don't know. I still have to design this after I lay out the parts, but point is, yeah, and then the Pi is gonna have its ports exposed because I don't like the thought of, you know, like an unusable computer. In theory, you could plug keyboard and display into this thing. Display wouldn't happen because, oh no, it would because it's on the top. Yeah, in theory, you know, your camera is literally a computer, so you could plug it in and use it as one if you want to. I used to have like a fantasy of that, like I have a keychain computer or something. A guy at Micro Center had one. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Look at that. But anyway, so yeah, the main thing that made me think about this is I want the Module 3 camera because it's like higher quality, but I can't buy it right now. And also I gotta wait. I'm trying to like finish this project. I already pre-ordered the V2 camera, so this camera like doesn't have to be once it's assembled, it's done. That's the thing forever. So what'll happen is you've got the this middle layer here, and it has like screw holes, which the front and back plates can attach to, and then these can interface with the electronics in the middle, you know, and they'll change their designs, like the color of the body can change or whatever. But all the electronics are the same, so those will be in there. You'll have like your step-up converter deal, charger somewhere. I don't know, that, I'm not sure where, that might be like here. I'm thinking that it'll come in sideways to the USB. And then the shutter, I'll probably have that as part of the thing too. And that, it turns out there's like a washer and thing, so you can just have a hole and attach it easily. But yeah, so we're gonna go for a modular design now. I want this like easy to access middle layer, and then the outer, let's see, what does that look like? Yeah, so let's say this guy here, I'm trying to remember this, something like that. So this is this would be like the plate design, and it has the V2 camera, you know, bolted, attached to it, and then it has like screw holes, and those go through and attach to the middle body. So yeah, I like the idea, because then you can change it. I mean, you're kind of locked in with the major parts, but like the back plate, you know, this one, what does it look like? That, and so something like this. Damn, my memory's bad. What does it look like? It goes around it. Okay. So, and that has like a depth extruded, but then it has like a base plate that it's attached to. Screw holes. This, you know, this is specifically designed for this round display. You know, if you wanted a different one, or like touch only, that'd be a different design. But yeah, anyway, I'm excited about this, because then the camera has possibility of changing. It's not just fixed like the Pi Zero HQ cam. So since the camera is modular and I want the camera module 3, I decided just to use a Pi Zero 2. Oh, and the other reason is the display I'm using now is a SPI, so it's going to have the same issue as the Pi Zero cam, where the refresh rate of the display is slow. Although, I have to see, maybe the LCD one is better than the OLED. I don't think so. Just soldering the 40-pin male header on right now. This is probably not visible, is it? Stick. Yeah, I've got this nasty bag of flux here. Just cover the pins in it, like cover the board holes with it. And that does make it stick, but yeah. I remember the first time I was getting into electronics, I had a 2x16 display. Soldered it all up, and there's a short somewhere. You turn it on, it would start smoking. And my roommate like fixed it for me. He was into this stuff before I was. It's just funny. Let's start somewhere. Yeah, these are nasty. They're like globs. They're not cones. I have one of those solder sucker things. Melt it. Oh, good. Dang, it's still joined. Get up. There we go. Good. Then I have to attach a power wire too. That'll be later. And there we go. I had to use single layer ones, 2 of them. That's what this is for. Soldered Pi02, and then I gotta wipe off this excess flux on something. Oh man. Yeah, and I'm gonna have to make like a daughter board thing, just because it's cleaner. Like you can just detach the entire thing. Hopefully I still have enough. Yeah, I've got one here. Looks like, oh, it's short. No. No! I got a whole one right here. I'll have to cut this. That's why it's short. It's left over. So yeah, the daughter board will attach like that. Ah, man, that means the middle body's like at least that thick. Oh well. I'm thinking that outer faces will add extra volume to hold stuff. I mostly just want like a see-through middle brick with mounting holes and stuff goes on there. There it is. Will it focus? Don't need no credit card to ride this train. Damn. Man has game. Okay, so I've got all the parts like modeled. It's not highly detailed. The main concern is like volumetric, like major dimensions and tall, yeah, and mounting points. So that'll allow you to like position them in 3D space to estimate like the size of the body, and then start, you know, designing like mounting holes and whatnot. Then you gotta account for the space taken up by wires and whatever, but yeah. This camera is pretty simple, like there's no IMU, no speaker. This is the charging board, step-up converter, so this plugs into that, and then this plugs into that. It steps it up to 5 volts, it powers this, and then everything else is linked together. I still haven't worked out how this thing works. I mean, I know how it works. Like, if you imagine a wire that's part of a circuit, it goes into this, and when you move the stick, it bridges it. You know, it's pretty simple. That's why the COM is like positive or negative. It's up to you which wire you use, but yeah. So I don't know what the reset and set buttons are for, but I'm not gonna mess around with it if the things work. Because then you'd have to design holes to like poke it, and I'm not gonna worry about that. Now this is the 8 megapixel camera. Like, I will upgrade it to the Module 3 at some point, but I gotta wait till I can buy it and ship it. And then I'll have to design like a new faceplate for it, because the camera's like much bigger. I guess the PCB form factor is the same, but it's like, yeah, this part is bigger. And what I could do is just, you know, look up dimensions and design the hole big enough to hold both. But I wouldn't, it's not a huge deal. I'll have to print a new faceplate. Like, it shouldn't be that long. That's part of the like modularity idea anyway, is like, you want to change the design of the faceplate, go ahead, and then, you know, comes back on. So right now I'll design the middle sandwich, sandwich, and then the edges of the thing will have a like a step inset or whatever you'd call that. So then the front and back halves like slide over it, and then the screws like just clamp it down. Those are nice. Like it feels good when you assemble it. And yeah, this is, oh yeah, the top is this part. So I'll have to rotate the images because I'm gonna have it sideways. Man, this thing is so bright. Like I think future cameras will always use an LCD of some sort because the OLED sucks. Like it's too dim outside. So yeah, I'll get to it. I'm looking at the Pi cam in front of me. ASMR. It's a zoom lens I'm turning. The 8 to 50. Yeah, that'll help me think about physical dimensions. Man, this thing is so heavy. Holy crap. It's mostly the lens. Yeah. I want to use this more, but the images are like disappointing. The 12 megapixel Module 3 won't be much better, but I'm also trying to experiment and look into, because apparently you can buy like a full Kodak sensor, and it's like a full frame, or maybe it's APS-C, but yeah. Although it's not like a breakout or designed for Raspberry Pi, so that's like a far future project. Somebody else worked on that, and I was looking at it like, damn. like almost 3 hours, 2 to 3, something like that. Anyway, yeah, so I don't like this. Like, this is ugly, but I'm thinking about, like, if the screws were to come in from the front, you would need, like, round holes, or not round holes, like round bumps that the screws go into, or the walls are thicker. I don't really want thick walls because that means it takes longer to print. It's just wasted plastic. Like 0.1 inch is pretty strong. So I'm doing screws that go in sideways, like the Pi Zero cam. Pi Zero cam has these things, which the front and back plates will have as well. So those will just have to line up and slide into, like, beneath the holes. And you can see the dip here, or step. Those will line up and they're kind of like a snug fit. And then the screw goes there. Those are for like back, front. Put 2 here. Then got the screws for the switch, charging port, the shutter is there. I got the holes for the Pi ports and the SD card. Still gotta put in the holes for the bottom, and then I gotta design mock locks, which I might make like a couple of models. They're just starting points. It's like this, and then you would build your modular plate against this. There's no real reasoning to how this is designed. Like, I move these things around so they have room, and there's somewhere that kind of makes sense. It's like you wouldn't put a switch down here because the camera sits on the bottom for the most part, or generally. And the shutter's up there. Pi Zero's up here because like access to the ports, and the camera's like landscape. You know, if you rotated it, then you'd have a taller body or whatever. And then the I think the camera cable's over here, so that curves around and feeds into the. You can see this is sideways. So when you do like the images, you have to rotate them, but yeah, which that's not a problem. I mean, otherwise you'd have to get like a longer cable, snake it around. It's more room. This is so far 1 inch wide. Battery is just a small 700 milliamp hour pack. So yeah, screws there. I still have to design the internals. I think the battery can just rest. I'll give it a little bit of space, but then there will be like little pegs that stick up. The battery kind of just sits in there. These will have like a snap design, which I'll prototype to make sure it works. And then you just snap them in. The Pi you'll screw in, because that's like a thing that'll take force, like unplugging, replugging ports in. So those will need like screw things. Then you screw it together. And I'll have to like print this out, test it, maybe reprint if something's wrong. Solder the parts. And I'll have to start building the front and back plates based on these models. I don't have this camera yet. I won't pick it up till tomorrow. Yeah. I mentioned the scrolls here. So that's what it's looking like. It's 4 inches long, which the NEX5N is that's a Sony camera. It's 4.2, 4.3-ish, 4.28. Yeah, so it's not a super small camera. And then it gets wider from the face and the back and front plates. This is not weather sealed or anything, so that's not a concern. Yeah, so I'll just keep going, and then hopefully I can start printing soon. so I can still print for like 7 more hours. Okay, so I'm gonna do a test print. This is 2 hours and a quarter, or is it almost a half? Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of like lazy. I said like snap designs, but like these are like this will need to be glued or something tied around it to attach here. A proper like snap design, you'd have to make like little clips. This one is just like resting down with gravity, so they'll probably have glue in the bottom too. Battery similar. No, you're not supposed to heat batteries, but yeah. And then there's another laziness here. I should have 2 more holes. I could probably throw one in here. That's not really hard to do. But I've The Pi Zero HQ only has two of them that like dangles down. Because this keeps it snug, and then internally, like the pressure of the wires and whatnot keeps it stiff. So yeah, I'm just trying to like get this prototyped and tested like fast because I'm almost halfway through my 4 days off. And I want to make sure like all the printing stuff happens within that time. I haven't even worked on code yet, but yeah. So got that on Cura. Looks like that. Print that out, and then attaching, put everything in there, and I'll have to solder. See how it fits. God. So I printed the middle body out. It's flimsy. I mean, it seems obvious, like it's a piece of plastic and it's a square with no supports. Maybe I should put like angle brackets or something in there. But it will get sandwiched by stronger parts, but still. Initial fit test looks good. However, yeah, like that goes there. I have to push the parts out that has supports. What's whack is the battery holder is there, like support. That gap is weird though. Why is there a gap there? I guess that's how it is, but you see it there, like there's the piece, there's the piece. It printed and it's not there. Like it's flush, so I don't know what happened there. Interesting. It's not terrible 2.5 hour print, but not really trying to repeat that. I don't know. I have time. I'm still screwing around with the other design. Like this thing, for some reason, it thinks it's if you try to fix it, it just removes everything like great. So I figure out what's going on there. It's like the skin is reversed. SketchUp, man. And it's lagging right now. Like you click something in a 5-second delay. Oh. So yeah. Dang. At least I'll be able to mount things and solder stuff so it's ready to go with this piece. I just don't understand why I didn't print that piece out. It's so weird. I see the issue. If you look at it, there's a gap. I don't know how that happened. So I'll have to fix that. And these things are also not there, and it's the same issue. There's a gap. Ugh. Alright, so I'll do that. I'm gonna briefly check the volume spacing. Like, I'm gonna put triangles on the edges to strengthen it a little bit. And also, when it gets printed, I will use more than 20% infill. That should make it much stronger. I like this, it feels good. I'm like a rat. I got crap everywhere. So right now I'm gonna solder all the things together. See, this is the middle board. This is not a lot of room. It's an inch wide. So you are allowed to go beyond it. It's just your back and front plates have to accommodate that extra space, which I planned for. But yeah, so and the headers they take a lot of room, but they're convenient for like a simple disconnect. You don't have to solder to the pie like permanently. Which I don't know, that's useful, but then you can solder the wires to a like subboard, daughter board, and it's like easier to change or something. But yeah, so I'm using glue because like I gotta glue stuff in. I wish I had super glue for the charging board that gets hot. Yeah, I'll try to film this. It's possible the camera will die. I mean, it should take me like an hour max, but I have to like verify everything works. I also gotta test this. This might be a mistake, but I'm planning on just sharing the 3.3 out there'll be a resistor to this thing that'll give you your control. Oh nice, tells you. So I'll have to flip these things too, due to the orientation. I have not printed the other boards yet. I want to make sure everything here fits, and then I'll measure how much they stick out, and then I'll extrude them a little bit to fit it. There's a lot of wire here, so I'll have to cut some of that down. That's just gonna suck, but it's 8 wires. So yeah, the charging board goes there. Step-up converter's there. Battery is there. It all generally fits, but I gotta join it all together. And I'll be basing the pins on the Pi Zero because they have the same like SPI setup, same like button count roughly. So this thing may suck because it's like really, I don't know. I'm sure it'll work, but it's not a great feeling. I think touchscreen LCD is the best. Alright, I'll get to it. Alright, the camera died, but power system's wired up. So, charging board, pretty straightforward. Battery goes directly into the middle pins, then the output comes out. This is a charger slash BMS, so it'll cut the power if the voltage is too low. It's cheapy. While it works, the main downside of it is it gets hot as hell when it's charging. Like so hot that it'll melt hot glue. Anyway, and then it feeds the output to the step-up converter, another cheap part. And then that goes directly to the Pi. The power is not sent anywhere else. And the 3-volt pin will feed everything, because it's all like low power. It powers this, and it'll just do buttons for state. And then the rest is like camera. So yeah, that's the center module, which I still gotta clean up by reducing wires and making a board. It will stick out to some extent. And then the front plate, see the LCDs on too. It's not programmed. Battery was glued in place, as will the rest of the parts. In the beginning I had to dial this new converter. It was like 20 volts out, so I had to drop that down to 506, slightly above 5. And I'll continue. Okay, so here it is, fully soldered. Unfortunately, it is still like a rat's nest of wires. As far as being like modular, it's not like easy, because it's not like there are, you know, like think of like the framework laptop, like they have these easy disconnect things, pogo pins, whatever. It's not like that here. Like, you would have to desolder if you wanted to change the buttons. The camera is easier because it's a cable you just disconnect, but it's still modular with regard to the front and back halves being detachable, and in theory you can change them and use, you know, the same like power system Pi. So yeah, this is all wired though. Switches on the right, up for on, no smoke, so everything's good. Now I have to write some test code to map all the buttons. Like, the buttons are reversed because the direction is that way, but I have it upside down, so I have to flip those. I could have flipped them in the wiring, but I'll just flip them in code. Similarly, the cameras, which I just realized, like, if it's like this, it'll shoot in portrait. It's not great, but the other thing is this cable's not long. It's designed to be like in the middle, and it won't be able to. I'm looking around for a longer one. I don't know if I have one, so I'll probably have to change the front design so the camera's up more, like up here. Otherwise everything's good. This goes there. I think I have enough clearance because it extends 0.3 inches out the current body, but then there's like it protrudes beyond that, so it should be fine. Yeah, in general though, everything like fits. I mean, it does stick out, but not crazy. So if you have a little bit of space on your front and back plates, it'll all work. You screw them together at the joining points. Charging port, oh man, that looks tight right there. I have to modify that on the design. Yep, so now I'll just do that testing, make sure everything's wired. There it is. Oh man, these screw holes look really small. I'm concerned, or not small, but the outer walls are not very thick. It might have been a design mistake. I'll see if they break. The ones for the Pi are fine, but I think they're bigger than these. But I'm glad it came out. Oh my god, that fit is so good. Like the side. Oh man. Oh. Yeah, I gotta glue that stuff down and put the screws in. But yeah, everything's good. Oh man, that's good. I'm testing the charging because this is a fixed 1 amp charger. And you can see it's like loose already because it's so hot. I see these like little hairs from my calf liner. I think it's like a wisp of smoke. This is a 720 milliamp hour battery and it's charging above 1C, 1 capacity, you know, 1000 over 720. But I think it's like 2Cs when you're worried, so the battery isn't hot or anything. So I think it's alright. Oh, this is a problem though because of how hot it is. Like it literally melts stuff that's attached to it. Like, oh, it wouldn't cause a fire, it's just it won't, this may no longer be attachable or something. I don't know, I gotta keep an eye on it. I did run a test code that checks the buttons are wired up. The center press on this D-pad, I think it's problematic because when you click it, it hits other directions. So briefly I tried like a debouncer, but even that was bad, and so what I'll just do is use the shutter as my selector as well. Like that'll be a backup. But yeah, that sucks. I only bought one, so oh well. So these screws shattered for the because they're designed like offset because my screws are too small. And the stress of pulling it apart broke them. I just glued it in because like you can push it flush. There's a couple of surfaces that are flush with the plate, and then you just glue them somewhere like the wires, and that works. But I'll update the design. I'll just center them and then increase the thickness. Hopefully these will hold up, but those aren't really load bearing or stress shear. But maybe I'll touch those up while I'm there. And that's solid. I messed up the display because I didn't like line it up, I just glued it down. Ugh, I'll probably fill in that gap with like some like electrical tape or something. But yeah. Oh man. And then the side screws were fine. Oh, cool. I like the thin layers that make it cool. Everything works. I just gotta like program it. But yeah, I gotta finish the faceplate design. Print that out. That'll be tomorrow. So I'll work on the software tonight. So the I got the V2 module camera here. I am able to have it sit like this. Like folds the cable under it. It is upside down, but it's landscape though is the important thing. So I'll just do that for this particular front plate design. And then in the future when I buy the Module 3, I'll get one of the longer ribbon flat connectors. I don't have one right now, that's why I'm using this one. So, kind of just chilling right now. It's late at night. I'm mentally spent, so can't really do much. But I'm thinking about the menu. This is the Pi0 HQ cams menu so far. You notice it's like a lot of text, not many images. The display is small. Like this thing is an 1.5 inches, and the round one is even smaller, so the key is to reduce icons. But I think it makes sense to generally have rounded elements though, to fit the theme of the camera. But I'll also like make sure that the major parts are there. Like you can take a photo. Like battery profiling would be nice because I want to figure out how long this thing can last before it dies with this tiny battery that it uses. I can't just port this thing over. I mean, I don't really want to either. I want to like come up with something new, but I'm just showing that there is like a pattern or something. And some features I want to keep, you know, like this charge thing, because it doesn't have a it doesn't have an ADC, so it doesn't read the voltage of the battery. It doesn't have like a current shunt, so I can't estimate what the battery capacity is. So that's all like time based and simulated loads, which I don't have a current draw, so that's completely a guess too. I mean, right now I still could, but I've already like soldered and packaged everything. But yeah, the other thing is there's this coordinate thing like per page, you know, you go up -1 or 1 actually, sorry. Actually here I have, oh I see, yeah. Interesting. I don't know why I did -1 for Y. But anyway, that's, yeah, 0, 0, -1. Maybe that's a typo, but maybe it's actually literally -1. But, yeah, I think I just gotta get into it after I sleep. Oh, man. Let's see, can I drag a quick picture? I did design the front plate like according to where the camera is. The cable has to bend, as I mentioned in other videos, so it looks like this now. It was flipped around where it's going to be over here and match the circle location. I don't know. I mean, this is kind of neat, I guess, that they're opposing each other, but that was not intentional. I'm still annoyed with the gap. Like, I didn't pay attention to that when I was designing it. And when I put it in there and glued it down, like, it wasn't straight. That also annoys me. I'm just like, oh. But when you turn the thing on, there's a dark border around it, so this should cover it. And then you just have the display, but I don't know. It was a rush job. I do like how it turned out, though. The orange, black, orange. That's pretty cool. I'm disappointed with this button thing. Like, clicking in the middle doesn't work, because it fires other directions, too. So I'll have to get used to clicking this for the action, which is weird, because normally cameras, you click that, it'll jump to camera mode, which I was intending to do until this problem. And then, let's see, where is it? Yeah, so I've started trying to imagine. Oh yeah, excuse me. That's good. I'm tired. If I wasn't off tomorrow, I'd have to be up by freaking 6 a.m. That sucks. It's 11:21 right now. If I didn't wake up this morning, I would be up till 4 a.m. So that's good that I woke up early. Anyway, I think that donating plasma also makes me tired too, so that helps. But yeah, this is not something like I came up with. I've seen this before somewhere, where like you're cycling through a menu system and like the stuff that's not in focus is smaller, and then the one that is big, and then it says what it is under. That's like a video game thing. So I do want that for the main mode. It's like you'd have an icon like for a camera. I don't know what looks like a camera. Something like that. Man, this freaking tablet. This thing is like, I've had this thing for years though, so it's very useful. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a photography mode, and then files. Want that? That won't say, it'll only say here. But the other thing is I wanted to do a mechanic, well, this thing I was just describing, to literally play through that sequence. It's easier to just flip the state, you know, jump it, but it'd be cool to like see it move. But that's not a functional thing, that's for fun. Oh yeah, then the other one is the settings, so I gotta go into SketchUp and make a gear. This reminds me of the Cartoon Network thing that shows up the credits. Oh yeah. And then the other thing I found out with the Pi Series Q Cam is the photos need like a thumbnail background processor thing. So when you show the previews, you use a small image. But I don't know how you do a preview on a circular display. Like, are they literally going to be like that? I mean, it's enough to tell the context of a picture. If it's like clearly different, you know. Like, oh yeah, I remember this one. And you select it. But then you also need like a counter. And I need a back, which is what I was screwing around with over here. Like, where is back? Here, up there. Probably there, I mean, it makes sense. And you select that and it shows the full thing. This thing is 1.28 inches, like, oh my god. Still, like, it's neat. Oh, and I'll carry the zoom focus in. But I do want to extend it to 16x, not just 4. Actually, is it 16 or 8? I don't know. I'm hoping the V3 camera module, like, you can manually focus it with software, because that would be cool. But how? Like, you don't have a physical lens. You'd have to have some... I don't even know how that would work without a touchscreen. You know, if you imagine like you're looking at a square of a larger image, you got there with the arrows, and then like clicking would zoom you in or out. Oh man, it's not even possible to go back. Dang. That sucks. I really wish that center button would work. I don't know if it's like mine is crappy, I wired it wrong, or... But yeah, the other directions are fine. You know, up, down, left, right. Then you click this one and it hits some of them. That's why I think it's like a physical design thing. Yeah, I might not be able to do the zoom preview. There's no back button, so like you can't get out of it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that. So yeah, tomorrow I'll be able to write code, so I have to like abstract the display sample code so I can use it, make menu items, and then figure out the state. The thing I didn't figure out, which the Pi Zero, I don't know if I have that page anymore. If you go into like a sub page, you know, it's like every menu has or every page has a structure, and ideally you could turn it into, you know, like a nested JSON object or something, a schema that describes it. So it's easy to like build them and then they all like work the same. But yeah, I never got around to that. I'll have to figure that out at some point, but yeah. I don't know, there's probably existing stuff out there, but I like it to make something, even if it's pointless. So I'll work on that tomorrow. It's like a song. Oh, dang it. I missed it. I can't stand it. I gotta make this thing flat and centered. I was testing the display and yeah, it annoys me that it's like slightly angled towards you on the right side. So yeah, unfortunately that's how I mounted it, is I glued it just like that. Glued it. But you can peel it off so it's not terrible. I just gotta redo it because it's bugging me. So I did reset the display, and unfortunately the way this thing is designed is just not good. Like, you need almost like a ledge or something for it to sit in, but then it has this notch, so it's the same depth as the rest of the display, so it's kind of weird. There isn't like mounting holes or anything, so it's a weird fit, and I didn't put enough time into it, so there are like gaps around it, and at least now it's flush, and actually it's below the display a little, which is nice. But yeah, and then the other thing is these screw things, they are too thin. Like, I gotta make those thicker because they did split. Anyway, too late on this design, but I'll update the, and then yeah, that's the display. I aligned it and then did some touch points, kept, aligned it, and then really went to town on the edges. Not impossible to get out again, but it's hard. This won't take much, it can take pressure, but it's not intended to be because it's not touchscreen. There it is. Okay, so I started working on the code. Right now I'm just trying to make like an abstraction over the display library that's provided by Waveshare. You can see they provide like all the different ones, so I'll strip those out except for the 1" 28. When you look at their example library, you can see that like they initialize the display, and that has to be in the path to work. See this like syspath append? That's for all these folders. So yeah, and then for my code, like software, tests will be gone unless it's a specific purpose, but that's just like scratch code. Main will pull in display, and display pulls in the stuff, like it's in the same folder. And I just tested like all of that works. You can see, I'm using all their code just like this, except, where did that go? Oh yeah, I was editing it in SFTP. Yeah, so I was just verifying that it works, and then I tried out their fonts. The first two are this weird, like, cursive looking, so I won't use those. I use the one that looks like mono space, whatever. The main font I usually use is Roboto, but you could find a TTF for that. Anyway, Oh, and the other thing I wanted to point out, the it's a circle, but it's still a square. So I guess I'll do the same, where I'll produce a square and then crop the thing. The other thing I wanted to point out is like this thing is smaller, 1.28 inch, compared to the 1.5 inch OLED, but it's higher resolution. It's like 250 pixels versus the 128, so it looks much better, and it's bright because of the backlight. So I think that'll be good, and I'll just have to make everything. But yeah, so I'll bring in the. Well, the other day I tested the. Let's see, where is it? The wiring, like the buttons. So this is how you get your commands. Like this is a loop that just keeps going, and then if a direction is fired, like you click the shutter or click a direction, it'll emit that. Well, right now it's just printing, but you bind that to the main program. It'll be in here. And then you just, make it all work. So, I'll get to it. Alright, so this will probably look bad, but I just want to cover how I'm making the menu so far. I mentioned that blue gradient. Oh, actually, I wrote it in a Devlog, but yeah, I'm imagining like a Windows 7 kind of vibe. Granted, these images don't match that, and that's just because like I'm not a graphic artist. I have to find something that's open source. So I'm just on UX Wing, which is where I usually get my web app icons from. And yeah, that's definitely like a contrasting look, but it's also very legible. So, and then sizing, like the display is 240 by 240. My cat. So the big icon is like that, and then smaller ones on the side. I guess you could have something even bigger, but there's got to be text under it, and then I got to put other stuff like a battery icon. So yeah, and then GIMP, using that to produce like the PNGs, scaling, and then the menu is like built on layers, so there's like a sprite folder and you define where it is, like where the picture is, how big it is, and you stack it on the layer. It's like copy pasting using the PIL library. Anyway, and I was thinking about if you had good code, you could define the menus like this, where it's like a structure, and it would just loop through them and paint them and bind events to it. But I'm not there yet. I have less than a day to finish this where it's functional. There it is, the final piece. I really wish my printing bed was clean, so I didn't pick up the older colors. Oh well. Charging right now because it died, but probably disassemble it anyway. Get that shot. So here it is. The camera, I kind of had to tighten and light it in place because I didn't spend a lot of time like figuring out how to mount it, so it's like floating and resting on a couple of contact points. It's not just flat, so I had to like tighten the corners until it was level. And right now I'm gonna check, like if I aim it straight, does the photo take look level? And then actually like screw the things in. Also, I'm concerned if the thing is too deep or it sees the edges. Hoping not. So I gotta test that out real quick. Ah, there it is. Assembled. I don't know how much bigger the V3 module is, but it's possible you can just like enlarge the inner hole a little bit and it'll fit both. I might just like grind it out instead of printing another one. Update the design because supposedly the mounting points are the same, so definitely looks like a toy without a, you know, lens that sticks out like this. Like that looks camera-ish than this. But I was thinking this will be more like a point and shoot camera because the interface is kind of limited. Like this one has the 5, but it also has a back button, so it's easy to like get out of stuff. This one doesn't have that. And the displays are roughly same size. I mean, top one is definitely smaller, but you know, those are close enough. Like in theory you can do zoom, but unless there's like touch, yeah, as I mentioned, the interface sucks. So yeah, it's on right now, but I don't have the program in yet. Just working on the quick. Oh, that's gross. Your finger can go on the camera. V3 will be on the left side because I'll have the longer cable. Anyway, yeah, I'm just binding the buttons. So go left, right, up, down. This is the problem. If you want to push the middle, I can feel it hit a bunch of other buttons. So it's like, oh, it's not reliable. That's why I'm not using it. And then I won't be able to do the animation today. I'm just spent. You gotta like, oh man, my hand. Write translation thing to animate that. You can do it. I've not seen how fast this SPY display is yet. I gotta add the live pass through because right now it can't. It'll do the same thing like the Pi0 HQ cam where it, man, it's so weird, the color. It like changes the balance and then my hand looks weird. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, since there's no way to go back, when you enter camera mode, it'll have a timeout like 30 seconds, like the old design, where, you know, the other one was like 1 minute because it can zoom pan. Every time you interact with it, it extends the sleep time, but this one, what am I saying? It'll be like 30 seconds because it's a point and shoot camera pretty much. Mostly relying on that autofocus, and you can mess around with settings, but yeah, the interface like sucks. I think maybe if in the future I decide to make another camera again, not that animal cam, but a legit camera that I actually use, I'll have touchscreen too, and then you can change settings and whatnot there. I actually have to learn, you know, photography, like exposure and all that. Usually I'm a noob and I just do auto. But yeah, so it's gonna bust this out real quick, and then hopefully we'll have you know, live pass through. Click it and see the output here. And I thought this was an annoyance at first, but it's actually pretty cool. Like you hold it, it cycles through them. That's cool. Go. Check it out. Live pass through. That's pretty neat, the circle. It is slow. That's the SPY, baby. But I mean, it works. You know? Oh my god, the freaking... That's so satisfying, that... But yeah, alright. And then I'll finish writing the image to file. I might have already done it when I clicked it. So I just restarted it. It has the systemd service on it. It should work. The menu should just turn on. There's no splash screen right now. Takes like half a minute to boot because it's a full operating system. It's so funny, like, what a waste. It's a camera, but it's a desktop computer. Ah, good times. Okay, there were a couple problems I had to fix, but I think it's fixed now. You do need this LCD init line. I thought you didn't need it, but I think I called it in the past and then removed it, but the LCD was already initialized. But when you boot it again from power off, you have to call it again. I don't know. So I added that back. Ah, there it is. Hey, that's pretty fast. That pass through. And I took a picture. Pauses, and then it continues. That's the 30-second stop. Oh, it's broken. Yeah. Okay, so I just want to go over the code real quick. A lot of this is borrowed from the Pi0HQ cam because they function like the same. I just had to change some things. But, and this code is really bad. Like, I wrote it in, I don't know, an hour or two to just get something going. Yeah, so everything starts in main. You can see, or you're in the software folder. So main started here. Main pulls in the other parts of the camera, like display, buttons, camera. So display, buttons, camera. When the thing is initialized, has some properties. Initialize display, the button, the camera. Pass a reference of main into them so they can talk to each other, the classes. Startup, that's this runs on threads, so like when you run main it keeps going because of this while loop, but all the other things are using threads, which are like separate while loops, but they're not blocking this one. So yeah, so buttons, like it's listening for high, so the, I don't know if I have it up. I'll try it, nothing weird. Okay, oh, not that, hold on. Yeah, I just put together this really crappy wiring diagram, but the buttons are all linked to this 3.3 volt from the Pi. It has a resistor to not draw too much current, but yeah, so that goes directly into the GPIO pins, and that's how it gets the on-off, button is pushed. And that gets passed back into main by this callback here, button pressed. And yeah, this is all nasty, like this is how you would do it. The menu cycling, which you've seen in this video, this is all it's doing. Is like it's at 0. If you go left it goes -1, go right it goes 1, and then it loops around, and then it's drawing the different menus, which you can see here. This is again duplicated code that you can turn into a function. I just don't have much time. And it's just sliding the images around. It opens that blue gradient base, and then it takes the photos, which you can see in the menu here. There's a sprites folder, so there's the camera icon, there's the blue gradient there. It pastes those layers on top of that, and then there's a final image, rotates it because the display is rotated, and it shows it. Similarly, the pass-through uses the same concept. Like there's a thread, and it takes a photo and it shows that instead of the menu, and then it's all based on how fast the SPY can write, which it's perceptibly slow, so it's not like 30 frames per second or something. And then the refresh rate is going like, usually it's top to bottom, but since the display is rotated to the left, you can see a shearing line going left to right. But yeah, that's it. And then the photo is written into the captured media folder, which isn't tracked. That's just using an epoch epic string, which I found that I need to change that. It needs like a random string too, because when you turn the Pi on off, the time doesn't seem to be consistent. Where I don't know if that's true, that's a hunch. Sometimes the image written is 0 bytes, which there's another fix where you pre-write the file location. That was a problem I was having with the Pi Zero Cam, where I would take a picture and it wasn't written, which sucked, because I'd take like a nice photo I liked and it wasn't there. Anyway, yeah, that's the code right now. It's really basic. Mostly stole it from the other one. And also doesn't have battery tracking. This thing does not last long. It lasts like 2 hours continuously, maybe 2.5. Depends on if it's doing pass-through or not. Oh, and the pass-through is limited by 30 seconds right here. So, since there's no back button, you really need that. So if you don't do anything in 30 seconds, it just turns it off and goes back to the home screen. Yeah. That'll get updated when I have time.